This episode of Whistle Talk. Today we have a special guest joining us, Mr. Tony DeVeres. Going into his 24th year of officiating, this Los Angeles, California native is not your average football official. With a background as a crew chief, this retired Marine also serves as the president of the CFOA South Bay chapter. Tony brings a unique perspective to the field. His experiences on and off the field have shaped his approach to officiating and leadership, making him a valuable voice in the officiating community. Join us as we explore Tony's journeys, insights, and passion for the game. I'm Mike D, the referee, and this is Whistle Talk.
Are you a football fan? Have you ever found yourself wondering what in the world was that ref thinking? Well, Mike D, the referee, is here to help. Join me on Whistle Talk as I talk to professionals on the field and in the booth to help you understand what is going on inside the mind of a football official.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our next episode of Whistle Talk. Today I have with me, this is a special honor of a guest, Tony DeVeres. Tony, correct me if I said the last name wrong again. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. It's DeVeres, but
Okay.
I'm used to every variation since the first day of kindergarten, so don't worry about it.
So Tony's coming to us from the state of California, from Los Angeles. Born and raised in L.A., Tony has an unbelievable resume, working some major high school games out there. I'm going to let Tony kind of go a little bit more in depth in his background. So, Tony, welcome again. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us today. Welcome to Whistle Talk.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me, man. I can't forget your name because that was my older brother and my son's name. So
there you
go. Before I get started, I want to say this for everybody. I know I said it to you, but this is a great format that you have because it takes people behind the quote-unquote iron curtain of officiating. And I think if people understand why we do the things that we do, when we do the things that we do, the type of people that we are, we're human beings like everybody else. We have families, we have jobs, but most importantly, we love football or baseball, whatever sport you officiate. And we're there for the kids just like the coaches are. We're not just these villains that go making these decisions that make fans and players mad. No, we're there for a purpose, and we're human beings, first and foremost. You said it all, man. Born and raised in South Central LA. Started playing Pop Warner football around 9 years old. Played up through high school. Was a pretty decent player. After graduating high school, I enlisted in the Marine Corps, which I served 12 years. Played football in the Marine Corps.
I got to interrupt you there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your service. Thank you
you're
for everything that you do, but that much appreciated by personally by myself. So didn't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to say thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Actually played against Mike Anderson. They ended up going to the Broncos. He actually ran me over in a semi-pro Marine Corps football game.
Okay.
After I got out the Corps, man, being a fan of football, liking kids, I started coaching Pop Warner football. And I was a young ex-military guy who thought I knew everything about football and was just really riding an official one day on the sidelines. And this guy, his name was Ernie Hammock. He ended up being a mentor of mine. He came up to me and he said, if you think this is so easy, why don't you try it? And it took me 2 years before I called him. But I called him, and I knew after my first Pop Warner football game that I officiated at Redondo Union High School at 8 o'clock in the morning, this is what I wanted to do. And here I am 24 years later. I got bit by that bug, man, and it has never left me.
Yeah,
so here I am.
It's a great thing. I kind of went the same path where I was coaching first and then veered off into the officiating world. And when I was a cadet myself, one of our instructors, I was like, well, I'm going to see how it goes. I've had a couple other coaching offers. And he was like, listen, once you start, you've already crossed over to the dark side, jokingly. He's like, but you're never going to go back. I'm like, and now hindsight, looking back at it, I'm still coaching now my son's youth team, but I love what I'm doing with the officiating side of it. I think this is a great platform, a great way to stay involved in this sport that we love. And I'm glad that it drew you into that too. So I'm glad that that you got brought over.
Well, I tell you what, I'm a better official than I was ever a player. I tell you that. I've had more success as an official than I ever did as a player.
So, yeah, you and me both. So now you're out in LA. You're the first guest that I've had on here from the West Coast. So we got a little East Coast,
Okay.
West Coast stuff going on here. Um, with your years, and now you've been an official now for 24 years, and
Going into 24, yeah.
you're involved in your chapter. You're a head referee now as a crew chief, and you're currently serving as your chapter's president, correct? For
Yes, I am.
the CFOA. So
CFOA South Bay.
okay, how has things changed since you've now been involved, especially specifically in your region? I mean, there's some big time high school football going on out there. What are some things that you have possibly seen in particular changing over the years with what's going on the officiating side?
Well, I think before we get into what's going on the officiating side, we officiate what's on the field. So the game of football has changed
Oh yeah.
from the way it's played. There's no more 3 yards in a cloud of dust anymore. The
Yep.
game is a spread open, wide game now, and these players are getting bigger and stronger and faster.
Oh yeah.
And there's more of an emphasis now on safety than I've ever seen before, which is great. Yeah, as we know, blindside blocks, depending on how they're delivered, are no longer legal. Um, you can't hit that wide receiver running across the field if the ball is near, it even comes in his vicinity. There
Yep.
used to be a time where a free safety could tear his head off, and it used to be applauded. Well, guess what? Now we can't do that anymore.
Hmm.
So officials have to be more safety conscious. We can't be so wrapped up into how we were used to the game being played and how we played it.
Yep.
We have to think safety of the players first. Period.
1,000%.
You
And
know.
that was probably the hardest thing that I encountered switching over from the coaching side to the officiating side, because we used to teach the safeties coming up, the middle linebackers with a tight end cross and laying them out, not getting hands on them, different things like that. All those things have changed.
Hey man, I'm a Steeler fan. Okay. Mel
Okay.
Blunt was my favorite player of all time.
Heck,
You know what I
heck
mean?
yeah.
Ronnie Lott. I grew up in Southern California watching him play at USC. Jack Tatum, Oakland Raiders. Come on, man.
Yeah.
It took a long time for me to adjust, but
Oh
hey,
yeah.
when you think about the size and the speed of our players now,
Yeah, you're right.
when you have free safeties now, some of them are in high school that are, depending on where you go, free safeties are 6'1", 6'2", 200 pounds in high school and
Yep.
running 4.3s, 4.4s. That's a car wreck. And that's most
Yeah, you're right.
importantly, that's somebody's child on the field.
Correct.
That's
Yep.
somebody's child. So yeah, football is still a violent game played by violent people, but we have to be more safety conscious to regulate that level of violence.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, So, what kind of challenges are you guys facing out in California with officiating? How are your numbers been out there? Are you guys, because here in New Jersey, we've kind of seen a drop in our numbers and officials. How is it going out in California? Are you seeing an uptick? Are you guys losing people, unfortunately?
Well, yes, unfortunately, numbers are down,
Yeah.
especially after COVID when we lost a lot of people. Nobody wants to come and do this. YouTube makes it very hard to recruit people when you see that assaults on officials are up. Let's just be honest. The
Yeah.
physical, I mean the verbal abuse that a lot of us are expected to take is up now. So it's really hard to recruit and retain people. You
Now,
know.
with that you're talking about, because we're dealing with the same thing, especially post COVID. COVID really was what took the initial notch out of the officials, but trying to get newer officials has been difficult. You're talking about like the verbal abuse and different things that some crews are getting coming off the field.
Hmm.
Are you seeing that often at the high school level? Because I know at the youth level here, we kind of had a little bit of a problem at the youth level because you would have 9, 10, 12 parents on the sideline watching their particular kid, where at the high school level, you hopefully have more trained coaches and different things like that. Are you seeing that at the high school level too with the?
No, we're blessed in our area to where our coaches pretty much know us. You
Okay.
know, where we have a problem with it is when we have um, schools from other areas that come into our area, or for the
Okay.
playoffs when we go out further away from our normal area. But yes, we do see it. We do see it. Sometimes it's on the sideline. Sometimes it's from alumni who's allowed to just stand on the sidelines, and all these extra people that are on the sideline. You know what
Yep.
I mean? But from the coaches, um, I'm going to be honest with you, Mike. It varies by school.
Yeah.
It
No,
varies by
that's
school.
true. That's true, and we find that the more successful coaching staffs in the area that have a better team typically have that leadership in place, and the head coach will tell his assistant coaches, "I'm the one that's going to speak. I'm the one that's going to make any comments to the officials."
Absolutely.
So
I'm a firm believer in what you see on any field or any court is what's coached or what's allowed. Period.
absolutely, absolutely,
Period. And if you have a mild mannered coach, you usually have a mild mannered staff.
yep. And it's a trickle down effect because the kids react the same way that the coaches react. If the coaches are
They
going
sure
nuts on
do.
the sideline, the kids are going to have the same reaction on the field. So
Yes.
so now you're a head referee. You're a white hat, a crew chief. What role
Yes.
did you have prior to that? What positions were you before you became a head referee?
You know, I made my bones as a back judge. That's where my
Okay.
reputation as an official was established. I was on a crew as a full time back judge my third year officiating. I was doing varsity football on my third year full time, and I've
Okay.
been a playoff official since my third year. That's where my reputation was established as a back judge. I've been able to work all five positions. I've been an
Okay.
umpire. Yeah, I've been both wings. I've officiated from every position on the field.
So you guys in California are all 5-man crews?
Except when we get to the semifinals in the playoffs, we go 7-man. But and
Okay.
if a school will request 7-man for a big game, we'll put 7 out there. But usually the norm is 5.
Okay. So recently in New Jersey, we actually converted to having 6-men officials. And we have a couple of 5-man games here and there. And the same thing, though, when you get to the semifinals and the finals, we do go to a 7-man game. And that's actually, as a back judge, is where I started off. And I'm not going to lie, it was great to see the entire field back there. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a first baseman catcher type. If you want to make a baseball reference, I'm not much of a center fielder out there, and that's kind of what the back judge spot is playing center field. You're going sideline to sideline, in and out. It was a great learning experience, but then I transitioned myself. I was to a short wing. It really enjoyed the short wing aspect of it, but I'm an old offensive lineman, so now I'm in the middle of the field as an umpire, and I love it being in there. I'm also a white hat too, so I do run a crew every once in a while as a fill-in. But predominantly, I'm an umpire by nature. So
Man, when I first time I ever put the white hat on, as a second year guy doing Pop Warner, I
mhm.
knew that's where I wanted to be. I knew right off of the bat. My goal was to be a full time crew chief at that point.
Okay, that's great. So now, as a crew chief, what kind of responsibilities do you have overseeing the game? How does it work with you? And do you have a set crew that you're typically working with?
Yes, I do. I have 4 great guys.
Okay.
Uh, that out here we pick our crews,
Hmm.
and we've all grown together per se. I'm blessed to say out of the 5 of us, 4 of us have been to a final. Um, Out of the 5 of us, one year, all 4 of us went to the finals the same year. We worked the same final together. We didn't start out that way. We had to grow together.
Okay.
We did not start out that way. We had to grow together. Um,
S-
res-
So now
Go ahead.
you're saying that you went all 4 of you went together as a final. do they typically
Mm-hmm.
pick a crew to go to the final, or are you getting graded on each game and different things like that, and they pick individuals from different crews for your finals?
It's usually everybody from a different crew, but it just so happened that particular year, four of us were the highest rated at our positions, and our unit got assigned two finals that year. So
Oh,
we
wow.
had two 7-man crews to work. Yeah, we was cooking that year.
Yeah.
Our unit
That's
was
pretty
in,
tough.
yeah, and let me. I don't like to say assigned. Our unit was entrusted with two
Mhm.
finals that year, and we had two 7-man crews, and it just so happened that year four of the seven that was on the finals happened to come from my crew. My umpire went with me, my back judge went with me, and my line judge went with me.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah,
Now,
so we've evolved.
yeah, and as a crew chief, you gotta definitely see if you're getting four guys going, you guys have to be able to work well together. So that's got to be something that you got to be proud of. Just the cohesive nature, the teamwork aspect that you guys have together as an officiating team, because that's basically what it is. Excuse me. We're relying on each other, just like the players are and the coaches are relying on each other. We're relying on each other too to make sure that we're reading the right keys, that we've got each other's backs, different things like that. So that's awesome that you've had four guys go with you.
Well, can I say something about being a crew
Yeah.
chief? I think it's really important. There may be someone who's aspiring to be a crew chief or whatever. You have to understand something. All egos have to be checked at the door.
Oh, 100%.
No one, not even the white hat, even though you're responsible for everything, you cannot be above reproach. You
Yes.
have to be able to say, hey, I make mistakes too, because it happens. And you have to pick guys that they may not be great officials at first, but you have to pick guys who are coachable, have good attitudes, and get along with each other. If you got coachable guys, if you got guys that want to get along with each other, leave their egos at the door and take it serious, you can make them a great official.
Yep.
But I can't make you a great guy or a coachable guy, especially in your 20s.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. So I'm lucky enough that the crew that I'm a part of right now, again, we're a 6-man crew. Um, our crew is fantastic. We work well with each other. We've got each other's backs. Our crew chief pregame, he's got the same pregame speech that he goes over. So we actually will jump in when he forgets something and help him out. But one of the things that he's always honest about, he goes, if I make a mistake, you made a mistake. So let's all be on the same page together. If you see Mike when I'm marking off a penalty, if I'm spotting the ball incorrectly, let him know. If I'm calling out something incorrectly, let me know. We're going to make a mistake. Let's check the egos, just like you said, check the egos out the door. And we got a great rapport with each other. And then after the game, we will go out. We'll sit down at a
Yeah.
bar, a restaurant, have ourselves a drink, and talk about the game.
That's the best part of the night. The game is just something that we do to get to the game is what we do to get to the after party.
Yeah. So I don't know if I should be saying this, but at pregame we always have a little meeting right in midfield before we get the opening kickoff, and then we do it again at halftime. But halftime it's usually like, all right, what's the name of the bar we're going to? All right, so we all know.
You're not the only one, buddy. Yeah.
Good
but,
stuff.
Hey, we know where we're going based on the school we're working at that night.
Yes. Yep.
So...
Yep. We just got to kind of finalize because we'll also try to bring in our clock operator with us or our chain gang too, if we can try to get everybody involved too. So we're always looking for other eyes, I should say, that see it from a different perspective. So at halftime, we're always opening up. I asked the chain guys, again, I'm in the middle now. I'm asking the chain guys, hey, you guys seeing anything? Or if the clock operator comes back downstairs, what are you seeing up there? How are things going? So we're always looking to try to get any feedback, positive or negative. I mean, heck, we're putting on those stripes. Got to have some thick skin.
Oh, armadillo skin is what I call it.
100%. Now, out in California, New Jersey, probably about 3 years ago now, we started going with a headset unit for each other, an O-to-O unit. Do you guys utilize any headsets with your crew to talk to each other?
Man, some crews do. We tried it, and I took them off at halftime. I couldn't stand them. I'm just old school. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'll run to you, tell me what you got, and let's get it going. I just couldn't get used to it. But some crews use them. Now my crew wants to go to them full time.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to get outvoted when we have our off-season barbecue. We're going to eventually use them.
Okay.
So yeah,
I gotta say, it has made at times a little bit easier for us as a crew, and there was a learning curve with it, and it definitely took some getting used to. But we typically, it's not mandated, but we typically have it on for about 90-95% of the times. We goofed one game. We kind of thought it was a lower level game. We're like, oh, we won't need the headsets today, and that was the game that we needed the headsets because we needed to communicate with each other. There was just so many little things going on that we're like, oh my god. So we kind of kicked ourselves for being with it for so long, and then going one game without it. We saw a difference in that aspect. But so now 5-man crew.
okay.
What is your main role as a crew chief, as the referee, when you're talking keys and stuff like that? Because things vary mechanically a little bit between 5-man and 6-game, but our referee, our crew chief always laughs and says, "Listen, I've got the most boring job on the field because I'm watching the quarterback 90% of the time." How is it for you guys, and what is it like with a 5-man crew?
When that quarterback drops back to pass, he's my child.
Okay.
He's my baby. Once
Yep.
I read, I go snap, tackle, read. Once I see the snap, I look over at that tackle. If he's standing up, I'm not taking my eyes off that quarterback. Left tackles with a right-handed quarterback probably get away with holding more than anybody when I'm back there refereeing because I'm glued to the quarterback.
Yep.
I usually line up on the quarterback's throwing arm. I keep myself in pretty good shape, so I don't care about wide side of the field.
Okay.
And the reason why I line up on the quarterback's throwing arm is because the biggest call that I'm going to have to make is, was it a fumble or an incomplete pass?
Yep. The tuck
And
rule.
I want to have a clear view of his throwing arm. Now, when I read run, I automatically just shift to the point of attack with my umpire, so I can
Okay.
watch for holding at the point of attack. I don't care about backside holds or anything like that. You know what I mean? I'll take a
Thousand
glance at
percent.
the backside to make sure somebody's not getting cut illegally or something like that. But once I'm sure that flow is going in one direction, I'm going to go ahead and focus at the point of attack with my umpire so we can get that big takedown or something like that. And then I'm just
Thousand
going to let the
percent.
game. I'm just going to let the game come to me. You know what I
Yep.
mean? But the quarterback is my primary responsibility. He's. I look at him as my child, especially
Okay.
when he drops back to pass. That's my kid.
Yep, and that's the same here with the 6-man mechanic. Now, something that we do a little bit differently, which our state adopted, is our referee is always going to be on the right side of the quarterback, and he's
Mm-hmm.
responsible for the right tackle. So we're not. We used to flip flop to the throwing side, but that now he's always going to be in the same position. And me as an umpire, I'm pretty much going to be over the ball about 7 to 9 yards back, but I kind of cheat side to side. I kind of read strength or wide side of the field, short side of the field, and I'm always still got my same keys. I'm still focusing on the ball pre-snap, still keeping. I've got the 4 linemen pre-snap that are mine. The tackle is the referees, um, but I move around just for safety. I've been run into way
Yeah.
too many times. I've been used as a pick way too many times. So I'm a big guy, but I'd rather not get run over by a 6'6" tight end coming at me.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna also watch those backs and those receivers for shifts and motions as well
yep,
that my wing guys might miss. Uh, I'll give you grace on one early in the game if it's not too big and doesn't jump out at us. But if I feel this coming, or if I feel we've missed one, I'll call the flanks in and say, "Hey, watch these backs and watch these receivers.
yep,
What that's your guys' baby. I got the quarterback." But those are pre-snap stuff that's big that we have to get. Anything that My motto is this: anything that jumps out on film that's going to make you look bad, we have to get it.
absolutely. Yeah, you need to get those. You need to get those, and pre-snaps are going to be the biggest one. Pre-snaps, your safety fouls, and the point of the attack. So it's
Yes.
gotta you gotta take those. The ticky tack fouls. I mean, our crew, we have a reputation of not throwing many flags. We want to officiate. We want to manage the ball game. We want to keep the game going, keep the flow going. But some games we will have 10 to 12 flags and we'll walk off the field like, oh my God, like what are we doing? But other games, if we have one live ball foul, that could be a lot. Like it's the pre-snap ones and let the kids play football. I personally, I love going into the defensive line or the offensive huddle and saying, hey guys, keep your hands inside, or as the line breaking the huddle and they're coming up
Yes, yes.
72, you got to get your hands inside. I'm going to bang you next time. Okay, thank you, sir.
Preventive officiating. Yes, sir. I
Yep.
use my voice a lot on the field.
Yeah.
I use my voice a whole lot. I even communicate with coaches the same way you are. Coach, 77 is over here. He thinks it's WWE tonight. If you go
Yep.
to his side, I'm going to get him. He's getting whooped over here. You know?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe in preventive officiating as well.
Absolutely. I think it's a big key to keeping the game going and keeping the kids having fun too.
Absolutely.
So, Tony, at this time, we're going to take a quick pause in our show, and when we come back, I hope you're ready for our quiz segment. So, I'm going to try to quiz Tony on our flagged facts, our 3-question scenario for him. So, we're going to take a quick pause, and then once we come back, we're going to jump right back into the flagged facts. Does that sound good, Tone?
Hey, Whistle Talk fans, are you enjoying what you're listening to? Be sure to hit the like button so that you can join us every week as we break down the nuances of officiating that often go unnoticed. We want to hear from you, the passionate fans who make our game so special. Like what you hear? Hit the like button and let us know. Have a burning question or a hot take? Drop us a comment below to join the conversation.
All right, so we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with our guest Tony from California, the CFOA, the South Bay chapter. Tony, when we conclude, I'm going to allow you to make a little plug too for your association. Try to recruit some other officials, and we're always looking to get good officials out there. So,
Okay.
So we're going to jump right into our Whistle Talk rule quiz here. So, Tony, are you ready?
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So, question number 1. Quarterback A7 fumbles the ball behind the neutral zone. In trying to get the ball, A27 pushes B56 in the back, 5 yards in the backfield. A27 then recovers the fumble. Tony, what do you got there? Do we have a foul? Do we have anything going on there?
I have a free-for-all for the ball, and anything goes, buddy. Nothing.
100%. There.
Once that ball is loose, it's like just let it. Hey, it is what it is.
Yep, and people were saying, "Oh, I got blocked in the back. I got hit in the back. That's a clip." And no, it wasn't. It was a loose ball on the play. Everybody's got an opportunity to go get it.
Unless it's away from the ball, then you may have something screwy.
Well,
But
yeah.
as long as they're in the act of, as long as they're in the act of scrambling, recovering for the football, boys will be boys.
Absolutely. All right, 1 for 1. Good job so far. All right, this one's a little bit of a longer question. Question number 2. It's A, 1st and 10 from the A 35-yard line. And again, for our listeners out there, when we refer to A, we're talking about the offense. When we refer to B, we're talking about the defense. So the quarterback, A18, takes the snap and pitches the ball backwards to running back A24, who proceeds to run outside the tackle box. And again, just to break it down for simpler terms, quarterback gets the snap and gives a little toss sweep going to A24. A24 is under pressure and throws the ball away where there are no other A players around. The ball does go past the neutral zone. And now the reason we have this question is recently high school did adopt the same college rules and NFL rules for intentional grounding. So, Tony, what do you got in this one?
I got intentional grounding on the offense because only the person that has taken the snap initially is awarded that protection. And we're going 5 yards from the spot, and I'm going to signal loss of down.
Absolutely correct. So if it was the quarterback that was rolling out and was outside the tackle box and threw the ball away with no other players around and the ball got to the neutral zone or beyond, we got nothing. That's a clean play now, where 2-3 years ago, that was intentional grounding at the high school level, which always boggled my mind because we're talking about the safety of the players here. That one just seemed like a no-brainer for me. If the quarterback's under duress, let him get rid of it. But we're now there, so they now did adopt it, but because now it is the second player, so if it was a double pass, which technically isn't a double pass, it's a backwards pass, but it has to be the person who took the initial snap. in order to get
And
afforded that protection.
and Mike, that's something that I go over with coaches in pregame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, a
I,
lot of them
I,
didn't even
yeah,
know the rule initially.
yes.
All right, 2 for 2. I have faith in you, Tony. Going 1,000% here. All right. During a run by A35, B22 is one step behind and has one hand on A35's jersey, attempting to make the tackle when he is blindsided by A67. The contact is made in the first scenario by A67's shoulders, kind of lays into him. In the second scenario, A67 uses an open hand block. Tony, what do we got in these two scenarios? Let's start off with A. What do you got in A?
Oh man, for one, if it's my crew, we better have a flag on the ground because that's a big one. That's a safety issue. He led with his shoulder. We got illegal blindside block. We're going 15 yards. If it's against the defense, we're going to add on. And then if it's open, we have nothing. It's legal.
Correct.
And what coaches need to understand is that block can be just as vicious with open hands as it is with his shoulder. It can still have the same effect. But the woo hits are no longer allowed unless you know what I mean. The Ronnie Lott stuff, the catching somebody just from the side like that with his shoulder, safety issue. We got to get that big one.
That's correct, and that was one thing for us. One of our keys with this is you see somebody going the opposite direction or towards their own goal line. That's a trigger. All right, I got to keep my eye on that. Start watching that because it's going to be plays like this, or tends to be broken plays where the runner is going side to side, where you have somebody peel back. But in essence, they're just looking for you to set a hard pick. If you just stand there and let the player run into you, like in basketball, you got nothing. Open hands, you got nothing. So it could be a big push, but if he's laying his shoulder into it, that's where the difference is.
Mike, I tell new guys especially on kicks. Let me use the proper terminology on scrimmage kicks and free kicks. If everybody's running north and south, and you see one guy running east and west, keep your eye on the guy that's running east and west.
100%.
Because
100%.
when he gets to where he's going, it's not going to be good.
Yeah. No, and that is a key element that we see all the time. You see that one person going in the opposite direction, you might want to keep an eye on that.
Yes.
All right. Great job. 1,000% there. All right. So
hey, Mike, I told a coach one night, he asked me, he said, "Are you sure about this one, Tony?" I said, "Listen, man, I got a 70 the third year. I said, I got a 70 the third time I took the test this year. I'm pretty sure about this one."
Oh, I'm sure that put his mind at ease.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Coach, I passed this time.
Yeah, it took me 3 times, but I got a 70 on the third one, so I'm pretty sure about this one.
We're good now. Oh, that's good stuff. So awesome job with that. And again, I kind of had a lot of faith in you that you were going to ace all those questions. But again, we're looking to try to educate a lot of the coaches, a lot of the fans that are out there who might not understand the different things and what we're looking for and why we're throwing those flags or not throwing those flags. So hopefully that helped everybody out there. So Tony, I want to kind of lead into a little bit about your leadership skills. You were a Marine Corps veteran for 7 years, was it? You said no.
I did 12.
12 years.
Yes.
That's incredible. That's awesome and incredible. Do you feel that has helped you in your role now as a crew chief, one, and also as the president of your chapter?
Absolutely. One thing the Marine Corps taught me about being a leader is leadership by example was very important. You can't just walk the walk. You have to talk the talk. You have to be approachable. You have to be tactful. But your product should speak for itself, if that makes sense. What I do on the field speaks for me, and I'm fair across the board. If I make a mistake, I admit it, but I learn from it and I move on.
Mm-hmm. So
I've been blessed.
Let me backtrack there for a second. You're a referee and you make a mistake?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I do.
Yep. We all
And as
do.
long as I'm wrapped, yeah, and as long as I'm wrapped up in this stuff called flesh and bone, I'm going to continue to make mistakes.
That's 100% correct.
Yes, but
So
it just leadership by example is very important to me.
now, do you see a trickle down effect with, say, just not only your crew, but you as a president now with the mentorship of your younger officials in your chapter and your association?
It's funny you brought that up because I'm taking on a new head linesman this year,
Okay.
and I called him and invited him onto the crew, and he told me, man, I can't wait to work across from Brandon, your line judge. And I said, why is that? He said, because I work with him on Saturdays doing Pop Warner, and he has taught me so much. And I'm looking forward to working with him on Friday nights. Now, I've had Brandon since he was a pup. You know
Okay.
what I mean? And so that makes me and the other senior guys on my crew, my umpire, Wayman Wiley, and my back judge, Chris Charles, because we've been pouring into Brandon for years.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me feel good to know that Brandon is pouring into somebody else.
That's awesome.
So each one,
that's a proud papa
each
moment right
one
there.
teach one.
Yeah.
Yes, each one teach one. I didn't get to where I am without somebody pulling me up and looking out for me. I had
Absolutely.
great mentors that saw something in me and poured into me. So now I have more behind me than I do in front of me. I'm going to be honest with you. So now I'm preparing the next generation. And that's so important.
Oh, yeah. And now with that, you've had some big games that you've had the pleasure of working too, I should say.
Yes.
You've probably dealt with some pressure situations and some adversity. How do you feel that you guys handle, and what are some tips that you can give younger officials on dealing with being put in those spots, the lights being the brightest? What kind of tips can you possibly give to other people who are looking to get to where you've gone?
First of all, you have to know the rule book. You have to know the book. On that same note, one thing that angers me is not if you make a mistake, but if you made a mistake because you didn't know the rule.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know the rule book. You have to be in shape. You have to know your mechanics. Okay? You have to know where to look on the field to see the foul 100%.
Yeah.
Usually, if you apply those principles and most importantly, know your rule, and you have to know when to throw it and when not to throw it.
Correct. No,
Those. Oh my God, those keys are element. I mean that's the element of officiating right there. Not just when you throw, but when you don't throw.
I'm a big believer in what you just said. I'm a big believer in the mechanics aspect because the mechanics are going to put me in the position to make sure that I'm seeing
what
I
I need
need
to see.
And also, I'm also a big believer in I see it, let it marinate for a second, let it process. Did I just see what I thought I saw? Yes. All right, here comes the flag. No, I'm going to keep it tucked. I'm not going to throw a flag on something that I'm not sure that I saw. I don't want.
If you don't know it, don't throw it.
Coach, I think he held. No, that doesn't fly in my book. It's Coach. He had his arms were around him. He brought him to the ground, or he had it wrapped, and the jersey was being pulled. I need to be able to go over to the coach and explain to him what I saw, why I threw it, and hopefully he can then go and teach it up to his player. Okay, you got busted up for that.
But Mike, knowing the elements of holding, what type of hold was it? Was it a grab and restrict? Was it a takedown?
Correct.
You know what I mean? Was it a bear hold? What type of hold was it? What pass interference? Was it an arm bar? What did he do specifically to hinder his progress from making a play? If you can explain those things, like I said, and if you know your rule book, you will rarely hear anything from a coach.
Yep, you're 1,000% correct.
Rarely.
Now,
but you
go ahead.
No, I mean, like I said, you have to know when to throw it and when to keep it in your pocket.
So now you've had some big games, and you and I were talking before we started rolling here. A couple years back, you got to work the Modern Day versus Servite game, and for those people that aren't aware, that's one of the biggest rivalries in the United States in high school football. It goes up there. You could say Midland and Permian down in Texas. And for my Jersey folk here, we got Bergen Catholic, Don Bosco. I know that there's a Bosco out in California too that Modern Day is
there is
battling with. But tell me a little bit about that game. That was a state championship game between two of the most well-respected programs in the country.
Actually, it was the Division I final. It wasn't we have it was the CIF final. It wasn't the state Division I
Okay.
open, the state open. Okay, but in order to get to that open, you got to win the Division I final. It was a great game to work. Unfortunately, we had a player disqualify himself from the game.
Oh.
He threw a punch on national TV, hit a kid in the groin. In front, a Servite player hit a modern day player in the groin in front of the modern day bench for God and everybody to see on TV.
Yep.
And we had to disqualify that kid.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he disqualified himself. You know. And when I went and reported it to the coach asked me the number, and I told him. He just shook his head like, yeah, you know what I mean. But it was a great game to work. We didn't throw a lot of fouls in that game per se. I think I had one foul, and it was a hold that was so big, the lady at the top of the bleachers could have saw it. We let the kids play.
Yep.
We let the kids play, but it was an honor to be entrusted with that game as the referee. There's no greater honor that I've had that tops that, other than being the president of my association.
Yeah, and like you said, that is a great honor to be bestowed upon you as an official, to be put into a situation where it's a hostile environment. You've got two very well coached, very athletes across the field playing football at a high speed, at a high level, in a very ruckus atmosphere. I'm sure. I think I looked on YouTube. I think they said there was over 10,000 fans at that game or something like
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
that's a big football game.
But can I share something with you that happened to me this year?
Sure.
First time I've ever been involved in controversy after the game. It was after a game. It was a semifinal game this year. It was a call that was missed by the crew. Yes,
Okay.
it was missed by us. It was a tie game. The winning team scored in overtime on fourth down, so they're going for two to win the game. And we missed 5 in the backfield on the winning play.
Oh.
They ran a trick. Yeah, they ran a trick play,
Mm-hmm.
and we missed it. You know, we missed it. We missed an illegal formation, and a team won the game. Now, having said that, because I know football, that kid was so wide open in the back of the end zone. The only person that could have made a play on him was the back judge. As somebody who played football, I'm wondering, how did he get because the kid that got open was wearing number 2. He was on the end of the line and he was uncovered. So still somebody should have picked that kid up.
Yeah.
Now, this is the semifinal game where we threw probably about 5 flags for the whole game, 5
Okay.
live ball fouls for the whole game. So that crew, we went out there and worked a darn near perfect game, but we missed one at the end. I still feel it didn't determine the outcome of the game because that kid. So you're trying to tell me if they would have put that running back that was in the backfield on the other end of the line, you would have stopped that play? No, you wouldn't have. They still would have scored on that play. Come on,
Gotcha.
we all know football. But
Absolutely.
as the crew chief, it was my look. I fell on the sword. Okay, it's on me. It's all on. I take full responsibility for it. You know, but I say all that to tell all the officials that are listening now, you can work a perfect game for 59 minutes and 59 seconds, and you miss one thing at the end. Nobody's going to remember what you did. So we have to strive for perfection, knowing that we're going to not miss the mark because we're not perfect. But
Yeah.
if we can be excellent, that's all you can. That's all you can ask for.
No, 100%. And we've all been in those situations. And excuse me. I was recently just telling a story. We had a huge rivalry game here in New Jersey. We had an inadvertent whistle, and it was
Ooh.
something that, yeah, it was something that the gentleman who blew the whistle came up to myself and our crew chief. We talked about it. We're like, all right, we're all going to go talk to the coaches. And it was, we took the sword. We're like, coach, that's on us.
We blew it.
We dropped the ball
Yeah.
on that one. That's on us. We're going to have to replay
Now-
the down because they didn't want to, the outcome wasn't going to benefit them. So we replayed the down and we're like, coach, we're going to move on, but that one's on us. You got us.
Now, having said that, I want people to understand something. The different mindsets in coaches and officials. A coach is going to take that win any way that he gets it.
Yep.
But if we make a mistake that really costs the team a game, we go home and we're sick about it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We go home and we're sick about it. Because you know what I've never seen in 24 years, Mike? I've never seen a coach come to me and say, hey, you blew that when my guy wasn't in the end zone. We don't want those points.
You're right. You're right.
I've never seen that happen. I've never seen a coach come to me and say, "Hey, my left tackle's been holding all game. When you get him for that." I've never seen that before.
You're 100% correct.
And it comes with the territory. I accept it. All right.
Yeah.
I do. I accept it. It is what it is.
And that's a great thing, and it's a great mindset to have, because we are gonna make mistakes. Hopefully not many, but we are gonna make mistakes. Just like, and I joke around because all my years coaching, I do got a good rapport with a lot of the coaches. Never once have I gone over to you and said, "Coach, why the heck did you call that play? That was terrible."
Thank you.
I'm like, now in my mind, I'm like, why is he using a timeout here? Like, what is he thinking? But I'm never going to say it to anybody. And I'm hoping that the same respect comes back to us. And I understand that it doesn't. And you got a bunch of different coaches on the sidelines. Somebody's not going to be happy on one sideline with what's being called or not called. So I've come to accept it myself.
Yeah, but Mike, let me say this. I tell players and coaches all the time. I go around during practices and I talk to teams and I talk to coaches, and I'll ask, and I'll say, listen, referees don't cheat. We make mistakes, and we want the same grace that you get when you make a mistake. I asked the quarterback one time, when you throw an interception, were you cheating for the other team or did you make a mistake? You made a mistake, right? Okay, so guess what? When I make a mistake, why am I not afforded that same grace? Because when you call me a cheater, you're questioning my integrity.
Yes, 1,000%. That is one word that I've been called many things in my professional career, as a teacher, as an official, but I'm not looking to cheat anybody. I know how hard these kids are working in the off season, and even I'm not allowed to referee the games of the high school that I work at, but I referee the games of my alma mater and stuff like that. And I love my high school, but I'm not going to change the way I call the game, because I know how hard that other team has worked to get to that situation too. So I'm going to call the game as fairly as I can. And
I told a player one time, I told a player at a team meeting, I said, so you say that we cheated. So you saying that I woke up this morning on a Friday and said, you know what? I'm really going to stick it to them over there. When we were in that locker room getting dressed, we said, listen, guys, whatever we do tonight, we're not going to let this team win. Because when you say I cheated, that's what you're implying.
You're right. Yep.
No,
you're right.
in football teaches life lessons. Young man, there's going to be times in life when an authority figure is going to make a decision in your life that you're not going to like. So what are you going to do? How are you going to respond to that? And the best coaches tell their teams, even if the officials make a mistake, we have to overcome it.
Yep.
That's the way I was coached.
That's the same way I was coached. God bless his soul. George Tardif, my old high school coach, still, I'm going to be 50 this coming year. He still has an impact of how I raise my children, because of how I was taught at a younger age, and to respect and to understand that we're human. The element's going to be there. We're going to make a mistake. How are you going to respond to that mistake? How are you going to respond to
Tom Richards was mine. Yeah, we sound like we had the same type of coach because Tom Richards was mine.
Yep. So moving on, because I don't want to keep you much longer on a beautiful weekend that we have here. I know you said it's a little rainy out there. What do you guys do out in California? Do you guys have film study? Do you guys have different things like that? We're lucky enough in New Jersey that we implemented the Huddle replay system. Not the replay system. Let me retract that. But the Huddle film system. So we are actually able to go back and watch our games again and see if we were in the proper spot, if we were focused on the right thing. Do you guys have such anything like that out in California?
We utilize Huddle big time out here.
Awesome.
The only thing I don't like about Huddle is it makes you realize how much weight you need to lose for the next season when you see yourself on film. But no, film study is imperative to the success of an official.
Yep.
Even to even to watch your mannerisms on the field. I noticed that I was standing around a lot, and the way I was standing made me look lazy, and I changed that. It's the smallest things that you can pick up about your game that you can only get by watching film. But we also have off-season study sessions that are hosted by CFOA for every unit. We had 100 and something people in a Zoom session Tuesday. It was great.
Yep.
And then we're going to start our own as an association in a couple of weeks. So we go year round. We're sensitive because a lot of people work dual sports, but we're constantly in the book and watching film.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's imperative.
Yeah, we just started in New Jersey. I think we're going on our third year now that we're meeting every other week as a state association. So we're getting the whole state. So we're getting 200 plus officials on a Zoom meeting like you're talking about, where we're either watching a huddle play, going over mechanics, going over different keys. We've had a couple breakout sessions for different positions too. So it's now turning into a year-round affair. But like you said, we're always trying to get better at what we do for ultimately the kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we don't do it for the money at this level. I mean, you know what I mean? If we don't. We do it. You work for a tank of gas, depending on your state, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You work enough for a tank of gas and maybe a beer and a pizza after the game.
1,000%.
This is truly for the love of the game.
Absolutely. You can make some decent money in it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you said with the coach, I'm not going to say, nah, you guys can keep your paycheck on that one.
Oh, no, I'm not going to say that. No.
But yeah,
absolutely not.
It's not something that I'm going to make a full-time career on. And heck, what is it in the NFL? I think there's 20 full-time officials and everybody else is still working secondary jobs in the NFL.
Yeah, but let me tell you, Mike, they make a lot more money than we do. That's a heck of a part-time job, brother.
That's a good side hustle in itself.
Hey, if you're going to get a part-time job, that's the one you want to get.
Yeah, 100%. So with that, Tony, I want to start wrapping this up for us. Again, thank you once again for taking the time out of your busy schedule to jump on here on Whistle Talk. What last words do you have for our listeners out there and for people in the Southern California area that may want to look to get involved in officiating?
Well, let me say this. Let me thank you once again, Mike. I think the platform that you have here is great so people can see that we're human beings and why we do what we do when we do it. To those who are watching, who are coaches, I would just like to say, realize that guy that's on that field on Friday night is away from his family, just like you are. He doesn't have anything against you. He's not there to hurt you. He's there to make sure your players stay safe and that whoever wins and loses within the rules of the game. If you're officiating is a dying art. We're getting to the point now to where we're struggling to put people on fields, and it's nationwide. And if you really want to stay part of a game that you love, just come and try it for 1 year. Just try it for 1 year. You can Google your state high school football association in any state that you're in, and you can put the stripes on. And even if you don't like it and you want to stay in coaching, it'll make you a better coach.
Yep.
If you're in the Southern California area and you're interested in joining our unit, you can email me at tdwhitehat3@gmail.com. Our website is under construction right now, but you can personally email me at tdwhitehat3@gmail.com, or you can go on the CIF website and just hit become an official, and they will get you to the unit that's closest to you, and we would love to have you. We would love to have you.
And for all the listeners out there, Tone, if you don't mind, I could put that right onto the links to the show, if you don't mind.
Yes, absolutely, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, we need people. We need people. We need good people who really want to learn the art of officiating.
Yep. And for any younger athlete that's out there that may be graduating, looking for something to do to stay involved in the sport, this is an excellent avenue for you. You may be going on to have a career as an attorney, as an accountant, whatever it may be, construction. Our hours typically are a little bit more flexible. You give yourself a Friday night and you can come out and still be a part of the game that you may love. And so all of our college graduates that are out there and former players that are out there, this is a great way to stay involved in it, where You don't have to be a teacher where you might not have the time to put in coaching. You could put the time in as an official, read some books, learn the plays, learn the rules, and still help out and be a part of the game we love.
And not just football. You might want to do basketball. You might want to
Absolutely.
do baseball. Heck, you might want to do 3 or 4 sports. You can.
Yep.
You can. I know guys that work 3 and 4 sports. They officiate year round. So just come out and try it for the sport that you love, male or female. It doesn't matter.
Correct. That is 1,000% correct. Well, Tony, I'd like to thank you once more for coming on the show today. It was a fantastic show. I truly do appreciate everything that you've done for us, for your area, for our country. Truly do appreciate everything. And thank you once again from the bottom of my heart. Truly do appreciate it.
Mike, thank you. And looking forward to much success for your podcast. What you're doing is a beautiful thing. And may God continue to bless you and your family. And I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you very much.
And same for you, Tone. Same for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Whistle Talk, where we unravel the fascinating world of football officiating. If you enjoyed today's discussion and want to stay in the loop with the latest insights, be sure to subscribe to Whistle Talk on your favorite podcast platform. Stay connected with us by following Whistle Talk on social media, where we share behind-the-scenes glimpses, updates, and engage with our incredible community of officiating enthusiasts. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Just search for the words Whistle Talk. Your support means the world to the show, and we'd love to hear your thoughts, questions, or suggestions for future episodes. Drop us a line through our website or message me on social media. I'm always eager to connect with the fellow fans and continue the conversation. Until next time, keep blowing the whistle on the untold stories and nuances of football officiating. Thanks for being part of the Whistle Talk family. This is Mike D., the referee, saying so long for now.